Ring ring, what's going on with the king this morning? Well, something a little bit unexpected from last night. We pumped out of 56 or wherever we were. Let's just zoom in a bit closer here into the, say, 20 minutes. We pumped out of here last night at about midnight when I was going to bed, and I was like, wow, voila, just like that. We've come out of 56 and hit 59 in a matter of, what was it, 15 minutes. We absolutely pumped, and I did not expect to wake up to this big sell-off. But hey, this market is a little bit more volatile than one would think. Very dangerous to trade at the moment, I think, just due to non-crypto events and things going on in the rest of the market. So I got to be cautious. If you're on my Instagram, you did see I entered into a short yesterday. I did jump into a short at I forgot what price it was, somewhere around here. Yeah, for this to continue further. I'm on the 1 hour chart now. But once I saw we kept wicking up out of here, I think I got out of it at just under break even, or just over break even. And I was like, nah, this isn't good for me. I'm getting out of this. Then I put on a long. I put on a long somewhere in this area, and I felt like if we were gonna dump, I put my stop loss just over this wick here. Let me get the doodle out quickly. Just below this wick, and of course it wicked me out in this area and then took off. So look, it's gonna happen, and in a volatile market like this, a little bit more unpredictable than one would think. But the point is, start taking shots. If you're trying to practice trading, take some shots. Be prepared to lose money. It's not how good you are at making money, it's how good you are when you lose money and how well you handle those emotions. Okay, so rest of the market today, well, this morning anyways, we're just recovering a little bit. You've got a little bit of green popping up in the last 1 hour just because BTC's recovered, but everything down. What can you do? Of course, sand is still up on 24 hours. Sand is just flying. It does not give any shits about BTC. So congrats to the people that are in sand. For ETH on the macro as well, I'm out here on the 2 hour chart. It's putting in a little bit more green than BTC is. Of course, it turns around a bit more. It's almost like a leading indicator at the moment. Once BTC goes a little bit green, seems like ETH goes even more green, hey? What else? So last night I also posted about the cup and handle pattern that's forming on ETH, and this is what I mean, because when you go back over to the ETH chart, you can't really see it just here at the moment, right? You don't really see it. There's no cup and handle there. This is just pulling back and following BTC. But I believe what the article was referring to was I drew this thing. If you're watching everything that I've been putting up, I drew this maybe 2 months ago or a month and a half ago. I don't know when it was, and it seems to be following this quite nicely. It's super random, but it is what it is. Now this is sort of the cup and handle that they're talking about. So when I get my dongle out, so it's pretty rough, but that would be the cup and this would be the handle. And for us to get back into this valuation against Bitcoin, remember this is the BTC Ethereum chart. This isn't, against USDT. This is Bitcoin against Ethereum. So when we're coming downwards, it means BTC is gaining on ETH. It's better for you to be in Bitcoin than it is Ethereum. When we're coming upwards, it's better for you to be in Ethereum instead of Bitcoin, right? So it's the vice versa. So at the moment, since mid-October there, it has been much better for you to swap your Bitcoin for Ethereum because you've been making more relative, to the other, and I guess relative to USD as well. So this is the cup and handle they're talking about, and if this does continue and pop up to where this giant midterm, sort of long-term wedge is happening, then we'll be at a valuation of 0.077 Bitcoin. That's how much one ETH will be worth, and I believe that should be around that $6,500 US dollars. Valuation. So that's what that was referring to last night. In case you guys saw that on my story, that's what I was referring to. I did post about Cadena as well yesterday. Trying not to marry my coins, but I just see a lot about this and it seems quite promising as it is sort of just differentiating itself from all the other coins. So instead of following the proof of stake system and blockchain that everybody is moving across to, it's still adopting the proof of work. So that's why I feel like it's differentiating itself, just like IOTA back in the day. The whole pull for IOTA in 2017 was it wasn't a blockchain, it was some other type of blockchain that was just different, and it had that differentiating appeal to it. So this is going to be something similar, but they've made the proof of work blockchain somehow made it a bit better. I did read it. I'm going to have to get the article back up and find out how they've made it better and more sustainable than Bitcoin, obviously, because it's not so sustainable. But for me, this line right here is a pretty strong resistance. It's bounced off it a few times, and it seems like this is a buy zone. I mean, where are we going if we fall through here? We're going to 11 bucks. I'd just buy more when we get down there, but I think this could be it. We might just end up making a giant cup along the bottom of here or something. Or, you know, we might get something like this happen, back up to this level just here, $23, and that I think is the Fibonacci 618 as well, coincidentally. So KDA, I'm liking it. I've still got my bag. I'm holding it. I think it's going to do wonders. It's quite a safe-ish bet in this bull run. You can get riskier and riskier. You want to go riskier over here on Gala. I did mention yesterday, I talked about this yesterday, how we were going to maybe bounce off this area here, and we did. We got sort of a double bounce in this area, and we're taking back off. So this could look for another leg up at this stage, despite Bitcoin being down how far it is down. I think this is looking okay. I mean, it's holding this level of about 36 cents. So yeah, I mentioned that yesterday, and that is doing exactly as prophesied. So over here to the Dixie now. If you don't know what the Dixie is, it's basically the US dollar against a basket of other currencies. Okay, I forgot which currencies there are. It's 5 or 6 currencies, some of the main other strong currencies in the world. And it has picked up a little bit. It looks like we're coming back up to the 0.382 fib level, which will be 97.50 or 97.70 to be exact. Something to keep an eye on, because yesterday, not sure if some of you saw, guess who just got elected or nominated for his second term as leader of the Fed Reserve? You guessed it, Mr. Burman. The Burman is back in power. Well, I guess he wasn't out of power, but that means a few things. It means the money printer go burr again, but also it's good for Bitcoin, but also negative, I guess, short term, because look what the Dixie's doing. The Dixie's pumping again. That's the US dollar, right? It's pumping again. We might get back up to this level and make sort of a giant reverse head and shoulders here before maybe heading higher. We don't know, but either way, it's putting on gains, and this is kind of net negative for BTC. That's why BTC may have, put in some lows at the moment and has done 15% or 10%. However, maybe it's 20%. However far we are away from the all-time high. So that's Dixie. Something to keep in mind. There was another tweet there that I had about gold, but I'll get into that in a minute. Over to gold here now. So just drawing out the macro perspective on gold at the moment. We're in a giant wedge here. It's been happening since the start of the year. We did pump since the big event that happened in the beginning of last year. Since 2020, you can see that. Sorry, it's about a 2-year. This is maybe a 2-year wedge we're looking at, not a 1-year wedge. 2-year, obviously. There's 2020. There's the big event that happened. There's the top, and we've just been consolidating this entire last 48 months, I guess, or a bit less than that. But anyway, point is here, you can use all of the TA strategies that I'm teaching you guys on crypto for anything, for stocks and for commodities, for whatever you like. So at the moment, what are we doing? If we zoom in here, we're coming back to retest and revisit this line. We're getting a big green candle here on the 12-hour. We did see a dump on gold, but the point is we've broken out of this wedge and coming back to retest. Gold could be off to the races soon. Similarly with silver, which is basically the Ethereum of commodities in my mind. Silver did break out, when was it? About a month ago or so. It already did break out before gold did, but it did break down out of its long-term sort of wedge. See, the purple wedge there is the long-term macro perspective that we had. and macro wedge, and it did break down and out of there, but you just got to reassess and reshape up, and this is maybe just what I've drawn up, and we've broken back out of this wedge because we're holding this line on the way down, sort of, you know, holding this as resistance, and we've broken that and heading back higher. So maybe we can draw another line in here now and see if it holds this line. So that's silver as well. Back to BTC. So another thing that was in the news as well is, if you guys know anything about Mt. Gox, Mt. Gox was basically the only exchange around in 2013, 2014, 2015. I'm not too phased on it. Unfortunately, I was not around in those times of BTC, but it basically went bust. A few people went to jail. People ran off with the money. The money got locked up. The money then was found by the founders of Chainalysis. For those that know, I do work for Chainalysis at the moment. The founders of Chainalysis found the Bitcoin on-chain and have since, I guess, returned it. And that's what this whole thing is about, is they're looking at, let me just move this one way or the other. They're looking at returning these coins back to the original, I guess, people that had them in the exchange. So those affected will receive large sum of Bitcoin, likely to happen Q1, Q2 2022. This has brought some fear into the market on a longer term horizon, he said, on the expectation that those creditors are likely sellers. So they're expecting these guys that are going to get this Bitcoin back to basically sell, which is an assumption. You never know who these people are that are getting this Bitcoin back. I mean, it's been years and years and years. It might be approaching 8 years now, 7, 8 years, 9 years, depending on when it was. If it's 2014, you know, it's 8 years. So they've been forced to hodl. Basically, at the end of the day, they're forced hodlers. And unlucky for them that they've been forced to make money, because I guess if it was any other way, I guarantee and bet you my bottom dollar that they would have sold that Bitcoin in 2017, in 2019, somewhere along the way. They had to pay bills or do this or that, but they've been forced to hodl, and now they're getting Bitcoin at 70k, 60, 50k, whatever it is, and they've probably bought it. God knows, back then, what was it, a couple of $100. So that is a little bit of FUD coming into the market as well. As I think it's in Japan. Yeah, that's right. See, Tokyo court signing off on plans to repay creditors. Mt. Gox, a crypto exchange which collapsed in 2014 after losing $500 million in Bitcoin. So, yeah, it's Japan. So, really interesting stuff there. Something to probably keep your eye on. Over to Twitter now. So 1.6 milli in gold looks like this, and 1.6 million Bitcoin looks like that. So it just goes back to what I was reiterating before about why gold has performed how it has in this pandemic, and why Bitcoin has performed how it has performed during this time as well. And just looking back at the fundamentals and what the new age gold really is, you can see it right there. And when you put it like that, it's a no-brainer to see that, you know, how easy it is to transfer 1.6 billion in gold. Will take so much money, so much time, so much insurance, so much, everyone's going to take their piece along the way, etc, etc. You send 1.6 billion in Bitcoin on-chain, it'll cost you $1. It'll cost you $1. We've seen it before. We've seen it on some on-chain analytics, people sending millions of dollars on-chain, and it happens in a couple minutes, and it happens in a couple of bucks. Not even a couple. It's taken cents, actually. I haven't actually seen one over $1. Maybe 67 cents I saw one. Anyway, we talked about Burr. Last thing I got for you guys, a little bit of humor. We've got Elon Musk here going into court with, I think it's JP Morgan. We have provided Tesla multiple opportunities to fulfill its contractual obligations. So it's unfortunate that they have forced this issue into litigation, JP Morgan said last week. I don't know what the fight's about. Either way, it's just funny. And here's what Mr. Musk said. If JPM doesn't withdraw their lawsuit, I will give them a 1-star review on Yelp. Mr. Musk said in response to the Wall Street Journal, "This is my final warning." Look, he's just a jokester, and I think that's what he's doing really well. As the richest guy in the world now, worth over 300 billion, I think it was last week, over $300 billion he's worth. Just think about that. Think about $1 billion. Then think about 300 billion. Yeah, it's insane. So what he does well is, I think he must have some sort of social engineer team to make sure he's cool in the media. if it really just is him on the toilet, like he mentioned in his tweet the other day, tweeting, he said 50% of his tweets are done on the toilet, then cheers to him. Maybe he's cooler than I thought, but there's a little bit of humor for the end of the day. Just retouching on BTC here again is, if we put in a double bottom here, this could look bullish. You know, if we do, and we are right now putting in a double bottom, despite, we zoom back out further on the 1 hour, being inside this wedge, we could still put in a lower low here. We still could come down to 54 or 55 on the nose and still be inside this descending channel and still be okay. But if we put in a double bottom here, it would be even better, be a little bit more bullish, because we've touched this too only in this couple of days, so it's sort of a mid-term double bottom. But if we put it in, then happy days, it might be going higher. But yeah, that's about it for today, guys. Watch that double bottom, watch that money printer go burr. I'll see you guys tomorrow.